Welcome back, everyone. LanceScurv here, the LanceScurv podcast. There's so much to talk about. Today, for me, there's so much that ran through my mind that I wanted to talk about. So, I was going to do a long something right now, but I'm feeling so tired. But I'm going to do something. We're going to talk, but I'm going to get up tomorrow. I'm going to cancel an appointment, actually, just to stay home and rest. Because there's things that have to come out. I have to talk about certain things. I got to make some good content from the soul. You know, there's so many evil people out in the world, and I hate to keep talking about it because I'm giving them too much energy. But we have to beware of these evil people. I mean, I witnessed a person that was so evil. I was down in Accra. And I was coming back on the van, and the van driver, I've rode with him before. I had some big bags that usually they'll pack in the back, and then when you get off at your stop, you go in the back and you get them, or the driver will help you go get them. But most of the drivers I get along with, but this particular one, he always had a thing for me with his attitude. But he had an edge to him anyway. Pretty much with everybody. But with me, it was severe, and I pretty much figured it out. You know, here in Ghana, you have a lot of people that are grown that have hang-ups. It's never really just cut and dry, and I'll get back to that. But he wanted to overcharge me, and I know the price of a seat or two. The times I've purchased 2 seats to have my things next to me and down on the floor. And he had this major attitude when I moved everything into 1 seat. Then he's telling me to move over because his little stick shifting, he was hitting my leg. I moved over. And there was a young lady that sat next to me, and she started humming a song, one of Madonna's old songs. Was it La Isla Bonita, something like that? Maybe I'm getting the title wrong. And she was singing it straight. So I said, wait a second, you're too young to know that song. I'm just messing with her. Because I could feel her spirit. But the driver next to me, because we were in the front seat, he was eyeballing us talking, you know, as much as he could. He was ear hustling. And we were having a really wonderful, uplifting conversation. One of those random conversations that you have where you're not a man who's trying to get a girl's phone number, but you're enjoying her energy, and 2 ships passing in the day. And he just hunkered down and was talking in this language. He was talking about me. I heard him say some things about a brony, and he kind of pointed at me or whatever, so I ignored him. We were just having a wonderful conversation, and she knew that he was talking about me. Well, this man was so saturated with evil and an attitude, just not even just for me, just overall. It was so funny because some of the passengers started arguing with him because he was trying to overcharge him like he tried to overcharge me. So they gave him the business. They cussed him out. I mean, I know they were cussing him out in the tree language here in Ghana, which there are more languages than just one, different dialects of the same language. So now, you know, me and the young lady are still talking, and somebody pulls up next to him, screaming at him like they had a vendetta, like they had some issue. So I look over, and this guy in the passenger seat has like half of a brick that he threw at the guy, and it hit him in the elbow, and it hurt him, because I heard him, it hurt him. So he cussed the guy back out of the car, and the other guy in that car, they drove off. So it shows me this guy has bad karma with so many people. And when you're so evil, evil attracts evil. Evil attracts the negativity. And it compounds. He was getting it all this one day. So I'm enjoying the conversation. I'm feeling good. And he's catching hell from the passengers. He's catching hell from people throwing bricks at him, half a brick. You know, these things come back to haunt you. And just like the young lady was saying, she says, you know, when you learn to just maintain that inner peace and cultivate that inner peace, a lot of negativity around you will just dissipate and avoid you. It may try you, but it doesn't stay with you too long if it can't work on you. So therefore, you have to resist the temptation to really indulge with it. Ignore it and let it go. As long as they don't put your hand on you or their hand on you, right? Ignore it and let it go. Because is it going to be worth it 5 years from now? Is it going to be worth it 5 weeks from now? Will it be worth it 5 days from now? When people are miserable like this, they are their own punishment. Never forget that. When they're walking around like that, even when they try to pretend and have a smile and they have it all together, when they have this type of dysfunction and insecurity and evil inside of them, they are their own punishment. And you have to think this when you see them or they're trying to interact to provoke you. Because and if they did provoke you and you fell for it, they're still gonna go to the next one. But they feel good when they provoke you and you fall for it because it's like, see, I brought you down to my level. The main thing, like I said, you have to have things that you're about, things that you do, things that you're looking forward to. I love being here at home in my studio. I don't have to leave to go to anybody else's studio. I don't have to go anywhere to seek out the joy that I get in my man cave. I can sit here and create. I'm retired. I'm protected. What more do I want? For me. See, there are other people who want other things for themselves. Good. There are other things I'm going to be striving for. Great. But I pace myself. I got to this point and it's sweet and I'm taking my time with what I do because I know what I'm doing because I've been doing it for so long. It brings me peace. It brings me joy. And nobody can take that away from me, right? Because it comes from within, because my energy attracts the good energy also. Because I see people and entities as the energy that they are, and I can quickly pick up on it. I spend a lot of time down here. I mean, I got the rest of the house upstairs and everything, but I spend a lot of time right here. The studio is pretty big, it's pretty sizable, but this is where most of the stuff happens. It's quiet. I get a chance to think. I get a chance to purge myself of old memories that may have bothered me for some reason, but I really can't find anymore. I remember things that weren't too good, but it doesn't bother me anymore. You know, you ever have a bad situation with somebody and years go by and you think of them, you still know that they are negative and toxic, you need to stay away from them if you ever run into them? Now my phone is making noise and I definitely have to shut it down because, like I said, I thought I had shut the sound off, but I didn't. So we're gonna do that right now. Power off. No interruptions. Oh, I gotta put the passcode in? Okay, let me do this. To cut the phone off, no problem. We don't want any interruptions. Do not disturb phone. My phone doesn't rule my life, trust me. But like I was saying, energy. I'm so focused from my quiet time that when I go out into the outside world, I can see it coming. I can see the good, I can see the confused, I can see the envious, I can see, you know, and you gotta understand that these other entities that are disgruntled, they can sense your peace, see? And they don't like that. They don't like you being clean and clear of all of this negative stuff, because there's so much of it in the world. Or they can sense you don't have insecurities, that you're very confident within yourself. A lot of folks don't like that. Whatever they lack in their negative base, they don't like when you have that thing that they don't have. And it makes a big difference when you're aware of this in your day, because your days will go that much smoother, right? Like for me, even being around that particular entity of that driver, he didn't affect me in a bad way where I just want to run away, but I'm going to top myself off. I have an appointment tomorrow which can be moved back a day. I'm going to do it to spite or in spite of any attempts. Now I'm going to really bask in peace and bask in nature and bask in good food and enjoy in my sanctuary. Whether it's one rented room, whether it's a mansion, whether it's the bathroom when everybody's sleeping, some place where you can find some peace for a little while to realign yourself. Because, like I said, things are getting different now out in the world. And I'd say after COVID, around that time, even a little bit before, because I sensed it when it was coming, but even after COVID-19 hit, and they had these rules of staying away from people because of the germs or the virus or whatever, which was a lie, we know that. All these admissions now today about how fraudulent that stuff was. I don't want to catch a strike or have this video taken down, because there's still butthurt about the truth coming out. But to me, there's more than meets the eye with that whole COVID time. When you think back about it, it was really strange. It wasn't strange to me because I'm used to being socially distanced when I want to be, when I want to rejuvenate my energies. But it was strange en masse. And to bring it up again, why do certain places in America need a curfew? If you're in America, I don't know what part, but I was in Orlando, Florida at the time, and pretty much unless you had some work to go to or some official business, there was a curfew. But at the same time the curfew was going on, they were putting up the 5G towers. Like, what's so secret about the 5G towers? Why didn't they want people out there at that time? And then once everything opened up again, everything didn't open up again. Us as human beings, there's a part of us that was stuck, that we could only open up but so much, the human connection. It's like while we were separated and socially distanced and curfewed and paranoid, and everybody who might be sneezing and didn't have a mask, and if you don't, it was mass low-key hysteria. But when things started to come back again, nightclubs opened, gyms opened, some gyms closed, you didn't have to worry about wearing this thing, but something was removed from us in society, in humanity, and the AI was pushed more. It's like there is a correlation with all of that I can't seem to come up with a definitive answer, but I know, feeling around in the dark, I know I'm going in the right direction. And time has changed, the feeling of time. And I know I'm getting older, so time will feel faster, granted. But the passage of time feels strange right now. It's like you blink your eye and 5 years went by. It's like the food doesn't, and I'm gonna start speaking abstract right now, right? And I jumped off the subject of the evil van driver. I'm just gonna free flow and throw some thoughts out there, so get ready for the ride. But it's like the food doesn't even taste right anymore. No matter how you season it, it's something missing. Our senses overall, unless you're really, really meditating, right? But in general, the senses of people seem to be numbed. Their response time numbed. And yes, the other day I did the video on social media and scrolling and the short attention span thing, and how it's affecting not just the children, but adults too, where their minds are hijacked. Something is removed. They're staring into this phone, and you speak to them and they're like, There's a disconnect overall. And why were we disconnected? Let's just say we have been disconnected. Why? Well, if you're disconnecting something, that means something else is being connected. What, and I'll say powers that be, but this is more on a spiritual level, which may have something to do with them. Something else has been introduced into our world, and our world doesn't feel right. That's pretty much what it is for me. Something else has been introduced into our world, and it doesn't feel right, right? It's almost like I still feel involved in life because I'm away from a lot of the madness. But still, it still affected me, and I've spoken to people who are very sensitive, and it's affected them also. It feels like we're watching a movie of our life. Like we're not really in it. We're just watching it. And we're watching time go by in a strange way. And we're disconnected. And something happened in the world. Some manipulation happened in a way that most people are not aware of, but I can feel it. I can feel it. It's like when someone comes to your home. Say you have several people in your family living there. Let's just say a mother, a father, a daughter, a son, whatever, maybe an uncle, just, different pairings. Or just say it's you and your spouse, you and a mate. Let's just say that. And you're a woman, you come home, and your husband, your man, whatever it is, boyfriend, he's there. But you could sense something. Who was here? You ask your man, who was here? There was somebody that was here. You can feel something different. Human beings are very sensitive. Very, very sensitive. And I think after the COVID-19 time, a lot of that sensitivity that we had or have, but for the most part had, has somehow been erased. Somehow been erased, taken from us, reduced. Doesn't mean completely gone. We still have it, but we are missing a lot in our intuition. A lot of things that we would pick up on fast, we don't pick up on it anymore or as efficiently. And so for me, being in this extreme condition of solitude, which I love, I'm still where I've always been. But for a while, I felt the gravitational pull. I felt the suppression of this reduction of our senses, not just smell and sight. Those are obvious. We still have those, and we don't even connect with that as much. Something to do with these phones, 5G, COVID-19, and whatever witchery these people are doing. Because there's a lot of spells being cast. Real spells. Manipulation. Poisoning. Different vibrations put out that we're absorbing, that we don't even know about. The computer screen, the blue screen, the phone, the tablet, the television. All of this different type of light. We get more light generally from the computer screen, the blue light, the reduced light, more so than the sunlight. You got Bill Gates saying he wants to block the sun. Why do you want to block the sun? What sinister type of control do you want to have over the masses that you want to block the sun? And this is something that I've always said. They say, vitamin D in the sun, or vitamin B3 or whatever. There's certain nutrients that we absorb directly from the sun, right? And I believe, and I would think that you might agree with me, that man doesn't know everything. There's something about the sun, nutrients that we don't even know about that we get from the sun. Whatever man makes, he can't compete with nature. And this man who rules the world in a satanic way is mad that he's not God. And that's why he wants to erase everything that the Creator made in the Creator's world, where I'm in, for the most part. Yeah, there's ATM machines, there's money we have to use, but I'm more away from the chaos in the belly of the beast than I've ever been before, because not much is required of me out there, right? I played the system, now they gotta pay me. So I do what I wanna do. You see what I mean? I had to endure years of being in that system, now I'm out of it. This is not a brag thing, because I'm not a millionaire, I'm on a fixed income. But what I'm saying is that that energy is not around me. Not that much, if at all. And I made it. I made it to see the mess that I was in as far as being so submerged in that society. And a lot of the things that I thought about while being in it and being in the system, it was right. Because I feel so much better. Not that I felt bad, but I didn't have to fight. I didn't have to struggle. Now I don't have to deal with these entities. These people who are off and being affected by the manipulations that are going on in our world that we don't even know about. Look, if humanity survives this particular World War III or near World War III and all of the things that are going to happen, if we go 100 and 200 years from now into the future and say technology is not evil anymore, we had a reset and the bad stuff left and everything is good, when you look back on this period, what would they really know about this period that we're living in right now, of the things we don't know? I think we would be very shocked if we really know right now, or really knew right now, what we're living in, because I can feel it and something doesn't feel right. Even though I feel good where I am, observing the world and observing the people, something's not right. There's a lot of perceptions that we don't understand. I know you've seen clips on YouTube or different types of videos or on TV where right before an earthquake, you'd see horses or buffalo or wild animals, which are not wild. They're doing what they do. Right before the earthquake, everything is peaceful and calm. You don't know anything that's going on. And all of a sudden, they start charging and running. Or if there's a tsunami about to hit, a really high tsunami, and it's low land, those animals on the low land start to run, and they're running for a higher elevation because they sense what's coming with the water washing across the land, and people get caught up in it because maybe we did have that sense to know when it's time to move. But if we did, we don't have it now. We have to see those waves coming. But before, I believe we all had a heightened sense before the interruptions on our senses happen, and we've been altered. You were born in the hospital and they take the child away to inject them with chemicals, or what are they doing with the child? What experiments are they doing with the child? They're reducing their sensitivity. What's their fascination with black babies, like the melanin in babies? Have we been altered coming straight out the box? Figure of speech, straight out the box, like when you have something brand new, it's brand new out the box. A lot to think about on a collective level. Animals could sense that. Why can't we? We're supposed to be the highest creations, entities, creatures on the planet. And people overall have been reduced. This is why you see them with the blank stares. This is why you see them confused. They're following the herd. They're not coming with independent thought anymore. Most people don't think independently. They just, oh, that's the new style, I'm gonna follow it. Or they don't challenge their mind. I love to sit quietly and think real deep. Real deep. Not the superficial stuff that they keep us up on the surface. We're not allowed to even go and think deep now with the things that are bombarding our brain. So much distraction. Excuse me. What if every time I'm in your presence and you're about to doze off and go to sleep and I blast the music on the radio real loud? It jolts you awake. I let you sit there quiet for a while and you start to nod out and I blast the music again. After a while, I don't have to blast the music because you'll be so jittery, you're waiting for me to hit you with it again. It's on automatic. I can leave you to sleep the rest of the night and get at least 8 hours and you'll be waking up, maybe not every 5 minutes, but you'll be waiting for that to hit you again. How are you programmed? How am I programmed? I'm not gonna say just you and not me. I think I've deprogrammed myself enough because I'm still at this age learning about myself. See what I mean? It's pretty late on Monday the 8th of April 6th. By the time this goes up, it'll be April 7th, and that means the next day will be my 63rd birthday. So if I was born, which I know, April 8th at 5:34 a.m. in the morning, when it's 5:34 a.m. on the East Coast, that's when I celebrate. And I don't mean like I'm blowing candles and cakes, and I don't do all of that stuff, right? But 5:34 there would mean that it's 9:34 here in West Africa, in Ghana. So 9:34 my time here would be 5:34 there, right? And I'm gonna be real quiet during that time. I'm gonna be right out in nature and just quiet. And I'll keep my phone with me. It'll be off as far as the sound is concerned. And once I see it, 15 seconds before, I'm gonna put it down and leave it alone and just whatever comes to my mind, whatever words I wanna say, whatever I wanna think. Because I'm just so thankful to come full circle to get to this point and have my filters clean, because I've been tuning up for a long time. You take a car for a tune-up, it's been running kind of funny, and you're so used to it running that way because it's been a while since the tune-up. And now when you get it tuned up, it's like it's sitting up 6 inches higher off the road. The tires are rotated, the engine, tuned up, spark plugs, everything. Change the oil, any other little thing that was wrong with it, and it feels new. Well, I want to keep this feeling of feeling new. And I am tuned up, and I'm going to keep myself tuned up and keep myself in touch with less of the distractions of the world and more being connected, not just to myself, but to my source, the real source. Not the source of social media, not the source of, well, I got to get more money so I can get more things. Right now, I really don't care about things. I have a home, we have this. I don't even have a vehicle right now. Look at the price of gas. It's cheaper for me to ride the van and get down and come back. I'm not attached to that. I couldn't tell you how many vehicles I've owned in my lifetime. I've owned a lot of cars. You get one, especially in New York City. Somebody's selling something, you buy it. You buy it to hold on to it, to sell it back to somebody at a better price. But you drive it around a little bit. I've had every type of car, truck, van, luxury, economy vehicle that you want to think. Maybe not every single one made under the sun, but pretty much each category and everything. So there's no fascination with that for me, And my thing is, from this point on, just having a smooth ride and enjoying my time, having a smooth ride, avoiding the negative people and the energy they bring that they want to bring to you to dump onto you. No, I'm not doing your homework. I've done my homework. We all need to do our homework. You can't get away from doing your homework, because when you transition, if you didn't, you're going to have to do a crash course on the lesson that you should have learned, or you don't graduate, whatever that means. There's no way you're going to get to the higher level without learning the lessons on this level. No matter what religion you follow, no matter what you say you follow, we're here for a reason. You've got to elevate. You've got to learn. You got to control yourself. You have to discipline yourself. You can still enjoy life, even fuller than a person who's gorging, not on just food, but certain activities because of the pain that they feel inside, or the voids that they feel inside. And they know what they feel. We dress up ourselves with a smile. Lance, how's everything? Oh, everything's all right. I'm not saying that's me, but most people, before they even think about it, not that you have to tell all of your business, but when somebody asks you how's everything and you say it's all right and you're lying, it doesn't mean you're obligated to tell them anything. But when you say that and it's not true, that's a call for you to go and do your homework in here, in your heart, in your mind, in your spirit. Because see, if you're walking around this earth and you're not tuned up, it's not a very nice ride. because you'll be bumping heads with people who have their voids, who have their negative energies, like this man who drove the van today, who had the problem with me for no other reason than he felt my peace. He felt my centeredness. And in essence, that's an invert compliment, but I don't want compliments like that when having to deal with these entities. So I stay away. That's the biggest revenge. So if you have people in your life trying to agitate you, bring you down to a different level, stay away. You can't hit what you can't see. Like Muhammad Ali always used to say, man, you can't hit what you can't see. The greatest champ, Muhammad Ali. Right? So you don't have to tussle with that. And the more you stay in a state of peace and balance, it begins to go higher and higher and higher. And that's, I don't even want to use the word addiction with that, because addiction, it infers that it may be something bad that you can't control. No, it's not an addiction. It's a pleasure. It's an elevation. It's a reward for you doing your homework. What's the word? What's the reward for doing all your homework, passing all your tests? You get high marks. You can't pay for high marks in the spirit. You have to earn it. You have to apply yourself to gain the awareness, to really look beyond what the surface shows, to see what you're dealing with deep down when you're dealing with others around you in your energy. There's so much protection around me, not just a physical wall and an outside wall and a gate and a place where nobody knows if I'm home or not. I don't burn lights. I'm not cheap, but I don't flick on lights all over the house and come downstairs and sleep and leave them on. My father always was one to say, hey, listen, conserve the energy. If you're not using light, flick it off. So for me, this is what I do. And this is a sizable home, but I always keep my keys with me just in case I got to go out one of the doors. And I always keep what? A flashlight. Always keep a flashlight with me. I got this USB power. It's beautiful because there's no batteries in there. You just power it up like you power up your cell phone. And it's really handy to have. Because when you jump up in the middle of the night, you know, I mean, I cut lights on as I need them, but I enjoy, I don't know, that's just my idiosyncrasy. No, I hang up about batteries, having them always charged, and keeping my keys and my flashlight with me at all times. I sleep, they're always near me, you know, and other things to protect myself that I won't mention here, right? But speaking of protection, it's up to you to protect yourself by being aware and avoiding situations that come at you. You will always be tested. And that's the thing on this earth, on this level of existence. You'll always be tested, you know? Another thing I wanted to speak about, that I started to speak about on the show with Brother Neil Frazier, Metamorphosis, was, you know, I don't really get into Ghanaian politics. Right? I don't get into the politics here. I get into them to myself. I have my own viewpoints. I have my own opinions. But the thing is, I realize where the radar, the blip, where my blip is on the radar screen here. I live here. I have citizenship here. I pulled up my roots and sunk them down here. I'm here. It's official. It's done deal, right? But I'm still a guest to the people who were born and raised here, who know the politics and they know the ins and outs and they're passionate about this. Who am I to come into, which this is my home now. Understand what I'm saying? I'm going to give another analogy. I think I've given that before. Who am I to come into somebody else's home as a newcomer and start trying to dictate stuff and tell you something that you may intuitively know better than me because you've been in this situation even longer? Who am I, right? I've said it before. You might be down and out, lost your job, have no place to stay. And a buddy will say, oh, you know what? You come by me for a couple weeks, you know. Don't worry about it. You'll find some work, rest yourself, de-stress yourself, Now, if I'm there as a guest and I'm sleeping on the couch and I hear my friend and his wife having a dispute that's getting not violent, right? But very aggressive and very loud. And I'm hearing things now. Now they're down in it. They're telling secrets that I'm hearing, and I'm like, oh man, I'm not supposed to hear this, right? I'm a guest in the house. I know my friend well, and I know his wife well. I'm out of place to bring whatever I heard up to them because that's their business. I'm a newcomer to the situation. Now, I won't be there in that house as a guest for long. I will be here in Ghana, creator willing, for long. I'll travel. There are other places that I may want to live in, but I'm always going to keep my root here, right? A lot of things, a lot of options. I'm happy about that, right? But the way the world is now, let's keep it down. We don't know right now. And I have a sense of how things are going to go. But me as a person who's viewed as a foreigner, even though I can say I have citizenship and show you my, not residency, but my citizenship, right? That doesn't change things how I'm viewed. So I stay away from that. But one thing I will mention that I notice, and this may be a cultural thing, it may not be a cultural thing, but I notice here publicly affection between the sexes, like a person who's either married to this other person, boyfriend, girlfriend, all that stuff. I don't see much hand holding. I don't see much embracing. I don't see, not that you're supposed to be making love out in the street or having foreplay out in the street. I'm not going to say that. But just, how you doing, sweetheart? I love you. I missed you today. How's your day go? I don't see that. So I tried to figure out, is this cultural? And then I was in a conversation with a dear friend of mine who lives here, and she travels a lot. And she notices little things also. And we were talking about a particular video where they were speaking about dating and relationships. And we know that here, the economy may not be good or fabulous for those who are part of the working poor, right? Hate to say it like the working poor. I hate to say it like that, like I'm condescending and I got it all made. No, I don't mean it in a scathing bad way. But it is what it is. And from what I see, there is no real middle class here. I see people who have, and people on the lower end of who have, but they haven't slipped into what Americans would call a middle class. And then I see the poor folks, the working folks. Doesn't mean they're less of a human being because they don't have as much money. But they don't enjoy the amenities that the affluent people enjoy. And you have those who are high up on the end of it, maybe beginning to peak into lower middle class, but they're still not middle class. And I'm saying this term from an American mindset, right? Upper class, middle class, lower class. And I hate to say lower. But that pretty much dictates, when we're speaking about dating, money pretty much dictates a lot. Because like we were discussing it, if you don't have much, your options are less as a man. Your options are less. If you have more money, and when I say options, I mean the opposite sex. I've seen it here, that you can have a man who has a wife, 2 mistresses, a girlfriend, and a side chick. Let me tie this in together. It's almost like money rules even our personal relationships here in this country, and people evaluate their own lives to say how far they can really go with what they have or what they don't have. Why does a woman settle for being the mistress or being the side chick or being somebody that you mess around with and you slip them a few bills? For the men who have it like that, who make good money, you have a lot of millionaires out here. You have a lot of people who are in positions and businesses and corporations, and that's just the norm. That's what's expected. You have affluent men here who approach women where they expect the woman to just fall down and, okay, I'll accept this because I don't have any money and you do. And this dear, precious young lady that I know here, she doesn't go for that. And she has shared with me times when men of influence and money have approached her and had no problem saying, I want to take you out, I want to buy you this and buy you that, and yes, I have a wife, but you'll be mine. They just tell them, and they'll be on their way to church. It's funny, right? But it seems to be like it's more transactional than anything else. Like the emotion is gone. I don't know if pre-COVID it was different here, but it feels like so much of a disconnect from what I see here. Oh, people smile, they hug, other than that, right? Families, kids, whatever. But romantic relationships is almost like, with some people you see them in the street and they're together in a relationship officially, but you can't tell. The man might be walking 3 feet in front of the woman and she might be closer to the curb walking, and they're not, there's no indication, because I'm a professional people watcher. From New York City, I would say one of the greatest cities in the world, even though I don't like it. I'm burnt out from that place. I've learned a lot. And I always used to study and watch body language and the gestures and everything that most people miss. The fleeting things that indicate situations right in front of you, but most people can't tell because they don't have that intensity in their focus. That's my forte. That's my forte. Not that I have to be aggressive to read into everything. No, I know how to relax and let what's there come to me, and I see it. You see, if I was a fighter, I would be a counterpunch. I'm gonna wait for you to throw the punch to me. When I see what's coming, then I got you. You don't always have to be aggressively looking. I'm one who sees what's there. Because when you look, you can overlook something that you are supposed to see. Let it come to you. So me being here, I see it's a little different. And when people approach you, you have to evaluate how they're approaching you. Because I've been approached, and we're gonna get down in it now. I've been approached where friendly conversation that you think is something in passing is really an attempt to see if I would be a sugar daddy. I don't have no kind of sugar daddy, but I'm not even interested in that. But you're tested very subtly. I've had 3 occasions where young ladies wanted to go to America and they wanted me to impregnate them so they can have an American child. A lot of people know me, but this is the first time I'm saying it publicly. I don't care if they hear that, and I'm not gonna say their name. Why? Opportunity? What do I represent? Perception is everything. People look at the internet and say, oh, I wanna go to America so bad, whatever. You don't wanna go there. If you can't conquer this here, you don't wanna go there. You can go there and become successful, but you better get in line, you better learn how much is different, and dog eat dog it is. Which, it can be looked at in a different way here that way, where it's dog eat dog. For those who are fighting over or grinding over what's available here. Because you're not gonna come here and work a regular job that pays 15 or 20% of what you are making out there. The comparable thing, because I told a person, I said, you got pharmacy security guards that make more than some of the police out here. It's true. With benefits, you know what I mean? It's a different world. So relationships are looked at in a way where it's transactional and opportunistic. And you can be 4'2", 500 pounds, breath smelling like Limburger cheese, cross-eyed, with 2 teeth in your head, and if you're a multi-millionaire, you're gonna have to fight the women off of you. You see what I mean? It's survival. It's not just a matter of gold digging, but it's survival. You know? And with a lot of these older women who are coming out here that may not have a man, and in the back of their mind, they would like a man. And we spoke about that. Because I have deeper conversations on the phone than I do on the show, but I'm gonna have to start talking these things on the show. And I jumped around because I wanted to. If I didn't, I was gonna talk one little short piece and that was it. But I'm gonna flow until I drop tonight, and we'll see. But I wanna sleep late. I'm gonna stay up a little bit tonight, and we're just gonna wrap. But I find a lot of older women who come from America to Ghana, and they get involved with a younger guy. Most of the time, that's the way it is. Because they I'm not saying this is written in stone. People are gonna come at me. This is not my situation. I don't think that. Shut up. Just from what I see across the board. I'm gonna see a lot of things. But let me just make sure my mics are working. Yes, they are. They're on. They're good. Good. Everything's jumping. But you live your life in America. You may have gone through certain relationships that weren't working out for you. It may have been physically abusive, emotionally abusive. Maybe it was just not the right person. Maybe you grew apart. Maybe you were widowed. Maybe it's a lot of reasons. But now, pretty much you're retired. You get that social security check, you get that job check, whatever, you have a business still going on over there, whatever you have going to keep your cash flow going on, and you say, okay, I want to come out here and build a nice house. You've been by yourself for a while. You see how nice the men treat you, and you're like, wow, these guys treat me really nice. These Ghanaian men treat me so nice. And I'm going to have this beautiful home out there. I know I'll find a man. And they give one a chance. And it's all good for a little while. And, you know, sexually, she may have been out of it for a while. And whoa, you know what I mean? I'm in a different country and I'm feeling so good. I'm getting treated so good. And you realize that you're paying for everything if you get connected to a person who doesn't have much. And then you realize that pretty much that's the way it is. You're American, you have all of this money, even if it's not all of this money, but you're expected to foot the bill. And you tolerate that sometime because you feel you have a certain measure of control over this man than you did over the men you dealt with in America, because he doesn't have, and you're in power. You have the control. There's a lot of situations like this, and I'm not saying that that's the cut and dried way it always is, but it's a lot. And a lot of folks not going to say anything, but I know what I see, right? And then they may realize that they've been played for that money. These guys will do it. And you may find out they already have a wife and family already, but they lied to you. And there's another aspect of it too, where I've encountered men, because see, Mrs. Scurv travels more than me. I haven't left yet. I haven't come back to America in 5 years and change. September 16th, 2020 is when I landed. I ain't going nowhere yet. I'm good within my sanctuary, right? And I remember one time when I dropped into the airport years ago, and I was walking out. And there was a cab driver who was there who didn't pick up anybody. We went in quick, and she got to the flight and through the gates quick. Relatively, like 20, 30 minutes. I'm walking out. I see a cab driver. Hey brother. Was that your wife that you were walking with? I wasn't thinking nothing of it because I was still relatively new here, so I didn't have my total paranoid, guard up mentality. Because I would have told him no, but I said, yeah, that's, Oh, so you are here without your wife? And I said, well, she got on the plane to go somewhere else, evidently. You know, now I started getting like, okay, you're prying now that my guard went up. And then he said, oh, I have someone for you. I'm like, what are you talking about? Oh, for the times you get lonely, I have somebody for you to come spend time with you. So what are you, a pimp now? You're a taxi driver pimp? You know what I mean? You got women on roll call, and you can call and whatever. Well, you know, what's going on here? You know, he kept pressing it. I wanted to walk out of there. I wanted to get something to eat. And I ran into him like 3 weeks later, another part of town. And he was with a young lady. And I saw him again, and he came across the street, and he said, are you still by yourself? Are you still alone? And I said, why? I wouldn't want to tell him. I said, why? That's the young lady I have for you. She is so beautiful. Just give her a little, you know, she will tell you she's beautiful. She'll come spend time with you. She'll make you happy. She'll do everything that us men like. I said, I'm good, man, I'm good. Now, she was talking to that woman that was with him, was talking to the store owner that I know. So I was close with the store owner to try to dig and find out something. They left and I went over there to her. So I said, you know that lady real good that you were talking to? Yeah, I know her real good. And her husband that you were talking to. I'm like, that's her husband? And he was trying to pimp her out to me? And I told her. She was like, oh my God. See, there's a lot of things that go on different when you get around a different culture. I'm not saying it's everybody, but there's some things that you see. Now, we know America is grimy, America's trashy. We know everything goes on over there, especially where I grew up. Not the neighborhood per se, but just the city overall. A lot of grimy things going on, but how you gonna do that, man? Money's that tight? Are you in a transactional relationship? Do you love your wife? Why would you do that? A real man would go out and work even harder. But you're gonna give up this woman that you're supposed to love and protect and cherish as yours? You're supposed to be selfish with her. She's your wife. And now you're sitting up here trying to pass her off to some guy you don't know, which was me. Huh? But you're watched. Because the perception is you have lots of money. And they're gonna get some of the money from you. I've never seen nothing like that before in my life. And then, when I first met him at the airport and I left him there, I'm walking down the street. This was a certain part of town that I didn't know the inner streets that are there, but I knew the direction I was going into. So I said, okay, I wanted to go more straight, but both of these streets, one was going this way and that way at an angle. So I chose the right side of the crossroad. And so there was this tall, drag queen looking entity coming down the street because it was pretty late. Not late like 2 in the morning, but late like 8 o'clock where things died down, but there was still activity. So she's walking, and the closer she got bigger and bigger, tall. I said, oh, this definitely got to be a man. So she looked at me and stopped. She said, I know you. I know you. You are LanceScurv. You are LanceScurv. And I smiled. Okay, she knows me from the internet. So I said, last time I checked, I think that's who I am. So she said she likes what I do, and am I staying here to live? And I know I was, but I said, oh, I'll think about it. You know, I can't give a definitive answer. So she says, where are you going? I said, I'm going to the main road over there to take the van to go up to get the express van to go to where I live. And she said, why don't you come get a drink with me? I'm going to nothing but nice hotels around. I said, no, I'm gonna go home, I'm a little tired. You know, I didn't say where I was coming from, what I was doing. And so I eventually got home. I left the conversation nicely and everything. All of a sudden, my cell phone rang. Who is this? I don't know this number. You know when it's not stored in. I said, hello? Hello, Lance. It was that woman, because, you know, my number's out there, and that's what's going to happen sometime. I said, yes, yeah, nice talking to you. How's everything, right? I wasn't trying to stoke up a conversation, but you're calling me, so spill it. I want to come to spend time with you. Huh? She told me a list of acts. I'm not gonna repeat it. You pretty much know what it is. She went down the list. I think you are a nice looking man for your age. I want to come spend time with you. I want to suck this. I want to lick this. I will do this for you. I will. Now, it's nothing I haven't heard before or I haven't had done before. But what's the motivation? It was real spooky. Because then now, because, you know, my number's out there, she started sending me pictures. And it wasn't nice. Because like I said, I keep myself in a zone of awareness. It wasn't nice. It was something devious. It was something deadly. It was something where she wasn't going to work alone if I was a fool to go along with what she offered. That's why she put it out there so fast. So she sent me these pictures where pretty much she has no secrets. I saw everything, everything. What was that supposed to do? Because I'm supposed to be like the typical man. Oh yeah, come over. And probably would have been 3 or 4 other big burly guys coming over too with weapons and machetes or whatever have you. And it wasn't that I didn't do it because of that. No, I wasn't doing it. But I also sensed an occultic energy in her photos. The way she looked. Not just the way she looked, but there were certain things she had on her shelf in the background of those pictures that she sent. I'm like, that's a cover for something else. And for the next 5 days, she was aggressive. She wasn't letting me go. Okay, she wasn't letting me go. But she had no choice because she was blocked. She was blocked. And you just don't know what's on people's minds, because some people turn up. It's beautiful and wonderful, but you have to know how you're viewed. And I went all down in different parts, just revealing certain things that y'all didn't know about, and there's a whole lot more. But this is not America in the sense where America is off the chain and crazy and more dangerous. It's nicer out here to me. That has been my experience. But there are some who will do things. And I don't know the terrain here like I did in New York City to know I can go on the street and ask different people certain things and they'll tell me because I know the place so well and I'm known and respected. I don't know nobody out here like that. And it's vast. So you gotta watch your back and move a certain way. People talk. People will betray you who know you and sell you out. So you have to move a certain way. But that's been my way anyway, but now it's on a different level. But you may be looked at as an opportunity, a destiny helper, somebody who can help somebody. Because that's pretty much preached here in many churches that, you know, we all know how Jesus is going to bust through the clouds and save everybody. And, you know, the mentality where it's someone coming from somewhere else to save you is really embedded and really bad here for the most part. Because when they see you, it's something, you know, total strangers. Oh, if you go to America and come back, bring me back a tablet, bring me back this. I want this, I want that. I'm not demonizing everybody. I'm just saying how the mentality is so you're not shocked when you come. And that's many African countries, right? But it's not bad. I'm not saying that that is good. I'm just saying that when you compare life in America and the bigger cities and the not so bigger cities, the way that you have this weight on you because you're always watching out for yourself. You're always watching. See, when you settle into a rhythm here, you're good. You're good. But everything is new in a different way. It's like a person who leaves a smaller country and goes to America, or they go right to New York City, or right to Chicago, or right to Miami, Las Vegas, certain parts of California, Los Angeles, and they're looking around. They're looking around. Everything is new to them, and it's obvious that they're a new ingredient into the soup, and they have to acclimate themselves and how they move, which I have done here, but the way I look and the way I talk, it stands out. I will forever be a tourist here to the people that don't know me. See, the people that know me know I'm here for good. But the tourists, or if I go to another area where they don't know me, I'm a tourist all over again. So I have to be aware that I'm viewed that way when people approach me. So I have to say, okay, this is pretty much what they're approaching me for. They want to get some money out of me. I don't mean rip me off, or rip you off and jack up the price, yeah, but and some will rip you off if you go to certain parts of the city. But back to the whole relationship thing. I was telling another friend of mine who wants to come out here, and he was like, man, Lance, we used to show those videos walking down the street. Some of those women are just absolutely gorgeous. And I'm like, yes, it's true. It's true. But you have to understand what's up here. He said, what do you mean? He says, I'm really through with the women who have the Western mindset, the modern day women, the ones who say, I don't need a man, I don't need this, I don't need that. And I told him, I said, there are a lot of women here who don't possess that masculine energy. I mean, in the city in Accra, it may not be the same way, but they're looking at what you got. I said, if you come out here, if you don't mind dating somebody more from one of the villages distant away from the big cities, that they're more simple. I don't mean simple stupid. I mean simple where they're not intoxicated with wanting to have all of this stuff. Not that they don't want anything at all, but they were groomed to be wives. And if you're a man and you can secure them and take care of them, they will take joy in having your children. They'll take joy in keeping the house clean and keeping the kids clean. And she has a man who loves her and provides for her, not a gold digger mentality, but do your part, I do my part, and I will keep you happy. See, that's what we're missing. I'm not saying everyone here is like that, right? But I see a lot more young ladies like that who are not, and you have good ladies in the city now, but when it's away from that hustle and bustle, from what I observe, it's just the cultural differences, right? Because they keeping themselves in shape by the way that they move, you see, the way that they eat. A lot of them that I've talked to, I never had McDonald's before. I don't want KFC, the food. I took a bite one time, it was nasty. Well, that's why your body looks as good as it does, because you don't put bad food in it. You're out there digging up the vegetables and doing different things and, taking care of the kids, whatever. You're bending, you're stretching, you're in the sunlight, of course. You'll have a wonderful body at 60 and 65 and 70, living like that. Longevity. And they're faithful and loyal, and they want to please their man. What more can a man want? Right? She may not be making big money. If you make money or do whatever. And really and truly, we in America have gotten away from that. When you look at how, I'm not going to say back in the slave days, I'm just going to say back in, we were dealing with racism in the 20s, the 30s, the 40s, but we were more unified. It was still survival for us because there was a lot of racism, and our only escape was to escape into our family and our home life, and marriage was respectable and something that you wanted, and life was rough, but if you go home to heaven, it doesn't feel as rough, see? But we know how with the welfare system coming in and giving the mothers the money, but you can't have a man there, and the feminist movement they used a lot of black women and put this thing in their head, and it mushroomed even more. Now they're using social media to demonize the black man. Crack cocaine came around, and many who didn't have opportunities got into selling stuff. They got records, they killed, whatever. It just messed everything up, right? But we got to get back to that. I'm not putting any country over any other country. It's just something I observed, right? Whether you want to get married or not, or be a wife or whatever, or just be a husband or whatever. But there is a disconnect because still we view or we see our value through the lens of the oppressor. You know, so we have to have this and have to have. You're going to get things, you're going to take care of your family, but it doesn't mean you have to have the most expensive SUV. And a good woman wouldn't pressure you to get that. If you need a vehicle, yeah, get a vehicle. Get a nice vehicle, get something you can afford. But you're not going to be pressured to thinking that if I don't provide this or have this, I'm scared my wife is going to leave me for another man. Then she's not the wife for you. Seriously. Because I realize with the passage of time, seriously, I'm not going to say it's frightening, but it's real. And it means nothing to you probably, but I'm 63 on Wednesday, April the 8th. 63? When I would see people 63 years old, well, a lot of them were on their way out. They were bent over, and I look at myself and I can see the changes. I don't look the way I did when I was bodybuilding or whatever, but I'm not done. I still have the wonderment of a child where I have questions and I want to learn things. And like I was telling Mrs. Scurv, I want to get that, and I got to do it tomorrow for sure. I want to get that app that tells you when you put the camera on the leaf or take a picture of it, it tells you everything about that plant, how to keep it watered, when the leaf is sick, what you need to do to correct it. That's how I learned. She grew up knowing these things. She just could tell you. She even touches a plant and talk to it. She's like Mother Teresa with these plants, man. The next thing you see them all big and strong. I don't have that ability, but I will get that, right? But you know, it's the disconnect is just hurting us so bad. And we got to get back to the original. But we've lost hope in each other because we've been burned so much. And now it's about, well, the women say, these men, this is what they want. I'm going to give it to them, but they got to pay me. So now you stripped away something of yourself. I understand how you feel through the pain that you went through, sister. But there are good men out there, and there are good women out there. And we will go through bad things. But what you don't want to have happen is to live a life where you only leapfrog from one relationship to the next, one relationship to the next. Something went wrong in it, you jumped into something else. Or something went wrong in it, you jumped into something else. It's no good. But like I said, the passage of time. Time is man-made, I understand that. On the spiritual plane, there is no time. It's just the state of being. But I can't believe it, you know? And if you happen to be 20 years younger than me, 30, 40 years younger than me, it's gonna go like that. Just make sure that as it goes like that, that you keep yourself intact, you keep yourself preserved, you take care of yourself. You put yourself first. And I don't mean like over your children, over your wife, but you have to take care, you have to be concerned more so because it's you. Because if you don't take care of you, you can't take care of your wife. You can't take care of your children if you allow yourself to break down because you haven't tuned yourself up and kept your performance level up to par. Get your rest, get your nutrition, think good thoughts, stay away from negative people. Protect your home doesn't mean just having a gun on the side table, right? Or whatever, that if you hear noise in the night, you can, take care of business. It means who you let in your home. You just can't let anybody in your home. I'm big on that. People will come smiling and swearing you're the sweetest person and, I love you, and they have bad intentions for you. Not everybody. But like me, when I'm here, I'm free. If I go upstairs, the top floor, middle floor, this floor, front, back, whatever. Everybody knows I'm a nudist. I'm not trying to be funny. And most of this property I can walk around, there's nobody that can see me. Put on my Crocs and walk around, I'm free. You know what that does for the mind? I don't always have to have these bulky clothes on. It's the same way when you go to a job, right? And it's a job where you must wear a uniform. When you're getting ready for work and you have to wear this uniform, the minute before you leave your house and you have to put that uniform on, it's like you're on the job because you got the uniform on. Because people see you as your job now and you're aware of that. They look at you, oh, you work over there? You work over here? You're at the job, you're on the job. You get out of the job, you go to the supermarket to shop, you still feel like you're on the job because of what you have on. Right? And what is it that you feel so good doing? You finally feel that you're away from the job. When you get home, probably you get in your bedroom and you take the uniform off. Now you feel free. So imagine me with clothes. I'm like, I don't even want to wear no clothes today. I don't even consciously think it. I just do it. Slip on my little shoes, my little Crocs. I'm walking around. If I have to go to certain parts where I can be seen, then I'm gonna, for the most part, I'm like one of the animals. I'm free. That helps me. I wash less clothes because I wear less clothes. Too much information, but it's a psychological thing. You wear that uniform, you go you pump gas after work, you go to the supermarket and you pass by a friend's house, you still got the uniform on, you still feel like you're at work, you still feel that weight on you. You have to learn the tricks of living in America to survive America and maintain longevity, to have yourself to yourself and be free. Me, if I was going somewhere else, like when I worked in corrections or when I was driving the bus, if I was going somewhere else and not going home, the uniform is not going to stay on me. In the trunk was a change of clothes that I can get out of, even in the car, and I'm sitting and I'm changing, I'm putting this in the trunk. I'm not wearing the job around with me and feeling like I'm on the job. No, now I'm free. It's a psychological trick. Try it sometime. If you're going straight home, fine. Keep it on, take it off. But if you're going to be around doing things, get the job off of you, right? Even myself, with the identity that people have placed on me because of what I do online, right? I am not just that. I'm not just LanceScurv. I'm not just the guy with the camera and videos and writing and drawing and articles and graphics, whatever. Sometimes I love to be around people who don't know me, which is a lot of people out here. I'll go somewhere kind of far away, have a normal conversation. And even in a normal conversation, I promote myself sometimes, but sometimes I let it go. A wonderful conversation in a cafe with strangers. They might be killing time for a flight to go back to Egypt or whatever. I mean, I've been through a lot of different scenarios, and you're talking with them, and you had the most wonderful conversation. As yourself, be yourself, know yourself. Learn to shift to different gears. It's not always, here's take one of my cards and follow my blog, and no. And you know what? 2 or 3 occasions I've done this, talking to strangers in places, like I did earlier today on the van with the young lady. We didn't say, oh, let's switch numbers and nothing like that, which I'm not against on a wholesome level, right? But that couple that was going to Egypt, that's why I said Egypt, because that's the one that stuck out in my head. A few weeks later, I get an email, because you know my information's out there on YouTube and other places. And it was them. They were like, we couldn't believe it. My wife saw you. Isn't that the guy that we talked to? Isn't that the guy that we talked to in Accra? You know, wow, look at what he does. We respect you, brother, because you were just being real with us, you know? Oh, before I go, I want to say, it's very rare that you have a relationship that started out as a business relationship, but it ends up being a brotherhood. And in me taking the LanceScurvX, I'm not a con, or an ex-con, the LanceScurvX name and pointing it to LanceScurvX, so both addresses now go to the same destination. And the old site that I haven't posted on, that's finished, but I still have the contents with me, which will all be transferred over to LanceScurv.com, the new version, and LanceScurvX. LanceScurv.com was that name I purchased in April of 2010. And it's always been my website. And we made it better. But in my budget, cutting back certain costs, of course, you know, eventually it had to go and I found better options. But the young man who did all the heavy lifting on the site, anytime I called him, he gave me good prices. It developed into a brotherhood where we began to learn the personal things in our lives, the respect that we had for each other. I'll never be able to replicate that ever again. Probably I could, but he was just like saying to himself, like, man, you know, the relationship we have on the business level, nothing can beat this. I might even read, this is nothing personal, that he revealed about himself. Let me see if I can find this email. I want to share it with you because it really touched me. And in doing so, we had shot 50 million emails back and forth to each other. And I cut the phone off. I'd be able to find it on the phone a lot easier. Okay, I might not be able to, because I wanted to kind of say the words that he shared with me and I shared back with him. Let me just click this like this. Oh man, you know, sometimes it's like the emails are always there and you have trouble finding them and it's right there in your face, but I want to just get it now. Okay, all right, that's not it. Oh man, let me see something else. Okay, let me go to my sent emails. Maybe I can catch the one that I gave to him. Okay, no, that's not gonna work. That's not gonna work. Well, basically, we shared our thoughts on our working relationship as it turned into a brotherhood. And he was saddened because he thought maybe that me not having him doing the heavy lifting on my website would somehow, we would lose contact or whatever. No, and I told him no. I said, this is only the beginning, brother. Because I said to him, this is what I said to him that I really meant. I know a lot of people. A lot of people know me. That's no secret. But there are many people that I know face to face. I've never been on a FaceTime phone call with him. I've never heard his voice. It's only through emails. I met him on Fiverr. and he does the independent contractor thing. And I believe he's from Pakistan. So although it doesn't matter, he's not a black man, but his spirit. There are times when it was time to pay for the monthly services, and it's like, oh man, I need 3 days to get this money in the account. Don't worry, brother, don't worry. There are times when he's going through things and I've gone through things, and we were shoulders to cry on. This is after years of always dealing and him respecting my work and learning from my perspective, America as a black man, things that he may not have known, and we discuss certain things, and he tells me things about his family, and we got to know each other really, really close. And I told him, I said, there are people that I know face to face that I don't have the level of intimacy and closeness with them that I do with you. This guy has all of the passcodes to my sites and social media. This guy has my financial information to go on ahead and do certain things, even on a phone call. If he's working on something half asleep, I say, go ahead and just take care of it. Trust, straight up, never a violation. Yet there have been people around me who profess to be this brother, and I'm this and I'm that, and they just couldn't wait to backstab you and betray you. You see what I mean? So intimacy is not always something, and I mean in a righteous way. We're not talking about any kind of limp wrist type thing, but the intimacy between people, it doesn't always have to be somebody you know face to face. Usually it is. But my relationship with him is a very, very, very special relationship. And I'm gonna have him doing some things for me still. There's more surprises coming in our platform. But every now and then, I have a little money, I'm gonna send him something. That's how much I care. He does well. He doesn't need it. He's not rich, but just to keep that thing going. I've been very blessed to have that relationship with him, just the same way I had relationships with other people on different levels. But you meet somebody on Fiverr who you've never heard their voice on the phone. You've never done a FaceTime or face-to-face phone call with them. It's all through email, and you have this emotional connection, righteous brotherly love, trust, and the feeling that you want to do the best for them, or you want the best for them. I said, never think that I'm gonna disappear from your life, brother. I'm always here. You prove to me who you are to me, and I can't let you go. Never think, right? And I will be emailing him, checking up on him, the same way that we think I'm gonna ask him, and I'm gonna put his contact information prominently, just his email, right? And if you ever need anything to do with websites, anything to do with anything, great prices, especially if you mention me, and the work is gonna be promptly done. If it's something he can't do, he will tell you. But all the years and all the stuff that I've been doing, he never told me no, that he can't do certain things, right? I'm putting my seal of approval on his name for the work that he does. And I vouch for that, big time. And it's really an enhancement of my life, because anytime I could reach out to him and say, hey, I need this, I need that. Like I said, on my former website, I would do the graphics, I would position things, I'd upload things. I knew 95% of how to, but there's always that little bit of percentage that you can't do it. You make the phone call and it's done, like today, earlier today. There was someone who used to do shows with me. I'll tell it this way. This was in late 2018 and early 2019. But from 2015, we started doing, there's a young lady, I'm not gonna say her name. All I'll say is she's not with us anymore. And she would speak on things cosmic, spiritual, historic, certain things, technological. And I told her, I said, listen, I'm gonna, this is how I do it. I'll put you on, I'll put you out there. Even if you recorded something and sent it to me like on WhatsApp, like a long voicemail, I'll take that, make a banner, hook it up, put your stuff on there and put it out there. You all know that's what I do. I don't really do that anymore with people that I don't know, that I gotta vet you now. I used to do that with everybody. I used to promote you for free. People turn their back on you, run their mouth, and then you're like, I can't be bothered with that. Well, anyway, she was making money online doing other things. She was doing very well. And I helped her to get to that point. She caught an attitude with me. She says, all these videos I'm doing with you, you must be making a lot of money. There was a point I started to make a little money on a regular basis, but it wasn't from her videos because the content was so controversial to the algorithms at the time. You have a rating system where you don't get any money, or you do with the green light, or with the yellow is very little. Hers were always in the yellow. And I think all the videos we did, she got 25 bucks. And I did screenshots of everything and showed her this. She still caught an attitude. I had given her my codes to my site so she can host her site on mine. Nobody knew this, right? I said, listen, I pay for it for the whole year. You can just go ahead, right? That's like me owning all of New York City, but my neighborhood, my house is on one city block. I have the whole city. Build buildings. I don't care. I won't even see you. You see what I mean? She turned around and had the guy who was doing her stuff, technically. They deleted my site. She had my site deleted. I went on there one day and it was gone. And you just can't. She called me and she said, oh, I'm so sorry. He hit the wrong button. This is what I know. It takes 6 different prompts for 6 different sections of my former site. You delete one part, there's 5 more. Delete another part, so that's like you telling me you were playing with a ball in the street, softball throwing with the catcher's mitt, and it flew off the path of where you were throwing it, and it hit a window. But 6 windows are broken. No, you did this on purpose. You tried to destroy me. And you did. But my friend here, who I met on Fiverr, who we're real close, he said, listen, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I have your whole site up to date, saved here, and we're gonna re-upload it and change the codes. I know she freaked out. And she got into the ear of other people that I knew. And that person got into the ear of other people that I knew and try to just turn. Things have been going on for a long time. One day when I write that book, you'll be surprised and shocked. But everything was right on point and back again. Yeah. You just never know. And this was a sister who I said, you know what? I'll work along with you and I'll help you. But you made countless thousands of dollars in your business endeavor that I help you to get out there with. I don't understand. Some people, they can be successful, but they do not want to see you have. What is that? Or if you have, they want more. Well, buy up the whole world. Own all of the internet. Get hits from everybody where they only follow you. She's gone. What did it matter? So I take this serious, but this is something that I do. This is not a fad. I'm not making any big money. I spend more money keeping this going than I make. I'm very transparent about that. But yet people will be envious of you because of the light that you have inside of yourself and the joy that you get from your craft. I'm getting joy from this. I love expressing myself. I love vibing with like-minded people. I love learning from people. This is not a performance. This is not a narcissistic performance to get more people to love my facade, but I'm a rotten person on the inside with things I can't tell you about. No. That's why sometimes I'll tell you too much information. Got nothing to hide. Right? I'm gonna wrap this down. I thought I was gonna talk for 15 minutes like I said in the beginning. How long have I been talking? Ooh, like an hour and 30 minutes. I think that's pretty good. So I'm gonna be up, getting this up tonight. So definitely give me your feedback on any part of this ramble that I did that you may want me to go deeper on, because I gave a kind of cross the board sampling, right? It's like when you go to an all-you-can-eat restaurant that you've never been to before. You want to go and sample a little bit of everything, but now you know what's good and what you don't like. So the next time you go right to the parts that you like. So whatever part of this discussion that you like, let me know, and I'll just go in deep and just stick on that subject. All right? So I'm going to wrap it up now. And like I say all the time, salute to my brothers. Mwah. Much love to my sisters. There's a lot of AI stuff out there. There's a lot of people out there sitting up all spread eagle. Yes, I am this, I am that, or whatever. And you don't feel their energy. Like, I didn't ever want that. When I started out doing stuff online, I said, I'm going to be me. I'm going to be real. And nothing's going to stop that. If I'm angry, I'm angry. If I'm funny, I'm funny. If I'm corny, I'm corny. Whatever I am, I'm going to enjoy it, because we all have multiple gears on our personal vehicles that we are. We're not going to stay in the same mood all the time, right? It's just about sharing your energy, your human energy, and uplifting somebody, making them laugh, motivating them sometime, warning them about things, whatever it may be. That's what I'm all about. Just a regular dude sharing my life, right? Much love to you all. On to the next one. LanceScurv out. Peace. I love you all. Thank you.